Do you want to know how to teach a child to respect others' property? Well, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting and good communication, how to build strong family bonds and child development all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're going to be talking about respecting other people's property. In this video, we're going to talk about why children don't respect other people's property and steps that you can take to help your child learn to respect other people's property. So why do children not respect other people's property? Well, the most basic reason is they don't actually attach it to the other person. They just think of it as a thing. A thing is a thing. You know, some people do that. Some parents train their children to do that unknowingly, actually. So I saw some actions from a friend of mine one time, and she was mad. She had an iPad. She was mad at it because she couldn't find something on it that she was looking for, and she literally took it, and we're in the parking lot. She's looking for something, and she's like, this thing, and she just throws it on the ground, and it breaks. I mean, maybe for you that's fine. But I'm like, okay, easy come, easy go, I guess. If you don't treat things as if you're grateful for them and that they have any kind of value, then your child is probably going to treat things the same way. Now, there are some children who are really unaware of their circumstances, and they're just kind of like bulls in china closets, you know? They just barrel through, stepping on things and whatever, and nothing gets in their way because they're like focused on that one end. They're hyper focused there and they don't see anything else around them. That can be like an ADHD quality sometimes for some people. You might be dealing with some situations like that, but just make sure that you are setting the example of caring for your things and respecting other people's things as well. So that's important. Sometimes when a person is in a place where they feel comfortable, maybe it's like church, they go there all the time, or it's their school or their neighborhood, you know, their street where their friends live, maybe they start getting so comfortable that they forget that that whole street does not belong to them. So children actually have this very egocentric type of a view of life sometimes, where they think everything revolves just around them. Everything is for them. They don't look out to see anybody else and what anybody else is doing unless it benefits or impacts them in some way. And so this can lead to the disrespect of other people's property as well. No matter the reason, we absolutely have to do something about it. And I want to share with you some steps that you can take to help your child respect other people's property. But before I do, I'm sure that there are certain experiences that you are thinking about. If there is something on your mind, like they're not respecting this and it's in this circumstance, put it in the chat and we'll answer it for you. Because sometimes the circumstances might need another insight. Or join the Teaching Self-Government support group and just ask me those types of questions every week. And you can find that at teachingselfgovernment.com. So let's talk about what to do in this particular circumstance when your child isn't respecting somebody else's property. So let's say you are outside and somebody else has a ball on their front yard. It's not your front yard, it's their front yard. And your child sees the ball on their front yard and says, I want to play with that ball. They go over and pick up the ball and play with it. One school of thought is, well, they left it outside, so I guess they don't care if other people play with it. But I don't buy into that school of thought because it is their yard and it's their ball. It's all actually self-contained still, even though someone could pick it up and use it or take it or something like that. So I'm going to want to teach my child that my child can't just go to somebody else's yard and pick up their ball and start playing with it or taking it or something like that. I mean, I think it's great that my child feels so comfortable with a neighbor and their things, but I've got to talk to them about that, right? So in our family, we always learned the skills and principles of self-government. That's what this whole channel is about. I'm sure if you follow this channel, you've noticed how many times we talk about different skills and principles of self-government. Well, when we are talking about respecting somebody else's property, we are specifically talking about the skill called accepting no answers. These 4 children's books, each of them teach one of the 4 basic skills. Teach following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. Accepting no answers is the book. It's this green one here. Accepting no answers is what a child needs to know so that they observe proper boundaries. You're going to have to teach them about ownership and about boundaries. So ownership is difficult, but I know it's not that difficult because my granddaughter Clara, she knows when something belongs to somebody else. She says, mine, Clara's this. And then she says, Nini's purse, Nini's hat, Clara's hat. So I'm grandma, she calls me Nini, okay? And so she can differentiate who belongs to what, okay? And she doesn't actually often cross over those lines to take something that's Nini's or to get into something that isn't hers because she has learned ownership, who owns it. So you might have to point that out, and the sooner the better, but it's never too late to learn it, okay? And then once you can determine ownership, so let's go back to the ball in the neighbor's yard. We determine, is that our house? No. Is that our ball? No. If it's not mine, then I can't cross over that boundary. I don't get to touch it. Unless, because you can always, of course, add in the unless lessons where they get to ask for it, right? But first just start with, it's a no. We'll work on asking for it and getting permission to use things after we're really clear that we understand the boundary line is no. So you may go out to your neighborhood, go on a little walk with your child, and talk about, oh, well, this is Susan's house. We are walking in front of Susan's house. If I step on that grass, that's Susan's grass. I don't get to step on Susan's grass. We talk about the boundaries, say, because there's like a line here. It's invisible. It's called a boundary line. And if we cross over a boundary, then we are basically disregarding a no answer. So what are the steps to accepting a no answer? There are 4 steps to accepting a no answer. You look at the person or the situation. In the case with the ball, it's a situation, okay? Then you keep a calm face, voice, and body. So you go, okay, I'm going to be calm. I'm going to think about this. Then you say, okay, or you ask to disagree appropriately. So the boundary line is the no answer. It's telling you no. You're looking at that situation. That's what you're saying okay to. You're saying okay to the no answer. Like, okay, I'm not going to cross over that line. And then step number 4 is to drop the subject. That means don't think about it again. Move on to something else. Don't let it be something that occupies your time. Walking away is the hard part for a lot of little children. If they really want it, the anxiety starts to take over, especially if they keep looking at it. So you might have to talk them through it a little bit. Every time your child accepts a no answer, you should praise them. You should tell them, wow, just now you looked at that ball. I know that you wanted to use it too because it looked really fun, but then you didn't. You told yourself, nope, I'm not going to use that ball, and you walked away. You accepted a no answer, and when you do that, you are practicing being strong inside. Great job. So you give them a praise that describes what they did, what you saw them do, and that they were able to do it. There has to be a positive reason for respecting boundaries. How often do we correct the child, or some parents punish? How often do they punish their children for crossing over a boundary line and not respecting someone's property? Oh, probably a lot, right? But do we ever show them the good side of it? Do we ever praise them when they didn't cross over the boundary line? There are so many boundaries that we deal with in our lives. Do we acknowledge when someone made a strong decision? That's going to teach the children cause and effect. When a person learns self-government, then they are able to understand the cause and effect of any given situation, and they possess a knowledge of their own behaviors so that they can control them. So what that means is that they need to see the positive and the negative of every circumstance. And if they do that, then they will be more motivated to go toward more positive. Soon, they'll start praising themselves for not crossing over that boundary line, not saying that word they shouldn't have said, or taking that thing that they shouldn't have taken. Whatever you do, don't make light of it. When a person is taking other people's things or damaging other people's things, there needs to be restitution. You need to talk about honesty and integrity. Those types of lessons need to be given to the children so that they understand that socially those things are never going to be acceptable. It's not just how you're feeling that day. There's something that's actually wrong with the behavior. They do need to know that. And if they feel bad, that's okay. Don't let it go too much to your heart. Feeling bad is a step toward making a change. Now, I just touched the surface just a little bit here in this video, but I do have other videos that could be beneficial for you. There's so many on the website, but I do recommend you getting a good overview of the skills and principles of self-government. And there's a class that does that. It's a full-length class. It's here on this channel, and it's called The Not-So-Known Secret to Parenting Success. So click on the link to that video now. I'll see you there.